Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for this Friday's edition of Alaska Weather. Taya River has a flood watch out for tonight and tomorrow due to increasing rain expected to move into the area tonight, and that'll become heavy on Saturday. So the river may reach moderate flood stage within the next 24 hours. Today, currently waist-deep water reported there along the Chilkoot Trail, and you can see the rainfall expected here for the next, well, through September 8th up to 2 a.m. and quite a bit here into the northern panhandle from the eastern Gulf Coast, but should be tapering off back toward Yakutat and to the west. Today, 24-hour rainfall amounts range from 3.68 inches at Yakutat to Elfin Cove, picking up a little over 2 inches. And some areas there in the hills or the mountains had upwards of 4 or more inches of rain in between those two areas. Otherwise, Hoonah picked up just under 1.5 inches today. Cordova, 9/10 of an inch. So it diminishes as you head back to the west of Anchorage. Picked up about 0.8 of an inch. Pretty widespread. About the same in Wasilla there, a little bit less, 2/3 of an inch, but over toward Hope and down toward Girdwood in that 0.8 to 1 inch range there. Then it dropped off as you head up the Susitna Valley. On the satellite, here's the cloud band here that brought all the rain up to the southeast part of the state. In fact, rain spread across the Copper River Basin. They've had up to 3/4 of an inch of rain at Gulkana, and that sliding up into the eastern Tanana Valley, some rain at Delta and also over at Northway, with the east winds at Delta kicking up to 30 miles an hour. Another wave down here developing on the front, and an upper level trough back here over Bristol Bay that's actually currently now moving into the Cook Inlet area, and that'll pull northeastward, and that'll probably keep the showers going into this evening, and then you can see it'll be drying out back here with the clear skies from west to east. Then there's another disturbance up in here, just really clouds, not much in the way of any precipitation. That's going to be dropping southeastwards. That's going to kind of hold the showers on here over the southeast interior over the next, well, through tomorrow, and then even into Sunday, especially over the southeast coast and back up toward the Wrangell Mountain areas. Otherwise, this is all high pressure out here to the west where the clear skies are, from Unalaska up into the Pribilofs. So all this stuff has to do is pull on out, and then this will move right on in, which is expected to do both over the weekend into the first of next week. That all ahead of this big storm out here bringing gale force winds into the Aleutians tonight. Lots of clouds with that, the low center down there to the south. So we're looking at east-northeasterlies already approaching 40 mile an hour in gusts at Adak this afternoon. And that'll be pushing eastward, and that's going to push that high off to the east and eventually over mainland Alaska over the weekend as that front drives eastward. On the chart today, there's the gradient just coming up to the Aleutians this afternoon, but high pressure, light winds over the Fox Islands, Alaska Peninsula. Some low clouds here along the peninsula, and you start picking up some showers due to the upper level system that's sliding northeastward today, and then dropping off. Nice day back to over the southwest. Sunny skies here across all of the southeast Bering Sea again, all the way out to the Pribilofs, down to Unalaska, although in the Kelski, partly in the clouds there. Very nice day up on the north slope into the Yukon Valley with high pressure up along the Arctic coast. There were some flurries early on here, mostly just some clouds this afternoon, and a little more sunshine back to the west. And then the rain, heavy rain today, falling in Yakutat again, obviously with the just under 4 inches falling. Notice they had gone to light rain at the 4 o'clock report there. So this front may have edged just to the east there. Another low down here to the south. We'll see tonight moves to about this location. The rain band gradually moving eastward, so rain will increase and the winds possibly dying off. Lynn Canal, they had gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour today, with Eldred Rock reporting 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and gusts to 50 miles an hour up there at Skagway. Those will probably drop off a little bit, but stay pretty brisk there with the heavier rain moving in. But the southern areas under high pressure, just some variable clouds there and continued mild. High pressure, light winds on the Arctic coast, and mostly clear and kind of chilly here through the interior. So it's the western interior up across the north slope, temperatures dropping down into the 20s, into the teens there along the Brooks Range. And pretty nice conditions continuing here. A lot of VFR and clear skies, except possibly along the Bering Sea side of the peninsula, a little bit of low clouds and fog. And then the rain edging its way eastward, possibly reaching Nikolsky, well, probably not until tomorrow morning. And then that'll push in toward Unalaska in the late afternoon hours. An increase in the winds here, but probably won't see gale force winds reaching the Dutch Harbor area there, but the winds diminish here as the low center pulls, the front moves in. The gales will be up into this area tomorrow afternoon. Light winds, St. Lawrence Island, high pressure, and partly to mostly sunny skies. And then for the southeast coast, the system here, again, a little farther to the east now, and that low really just kind of pulling off to the east, not rolling up too much. But rain heavy at times into the northern southeast coast there. Still dry, partly sunny here. You can see the high pressure ridging right up across the Queen Charlotte's and in towards Metlakatla and Annette. So just some variable clouds there, mild temperatures and dry. And then somewhere along the central panhandle, Port Alexander, start picking up the rain, and then that gets a narrow band of heavier stuff on up to Skagway. And then still showers back here along the Alaska Range, especially early on, upper level system coming down. Just some variable clouds of that back through this area, otherwise high pressure. High pressure on the Arctic coast as well. It should be a mostly clear day. Some marginal VFR here on the east side, but good VFR from Nuiqsut on back to the west, and then right on down the coast here. Pretty good again. Kodiak Island, mostly sunny or just sunny, clear skies there. But these showers gradually tapering off here and pulling off to the east, so it should be mostly sunny in the Anchorage area. Definitely down Kenai, Seward, looking really good tomorrow, Homer. But still kind of showery along the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, and a lot of showers over the Copper River Basin throughout the day tomorrow, but tapering off here as you get up to the north. Wettest conditions probably from Delta over toward Northway, drier back to the north and west. And then we'll see for Sunday, that front really washes out here and shifts off to the southeast. We still have an upper level trough from the southeast coast back up into the southeast interior. So that's going to hang those showers on, but they're going to be in more of a scattered nature with just mostly cloudy skies here for Sunday. And along the mountains, Wrangell Mountains, eastern Alaska Range, sunshine, south central Alaska, Seward up into Wasilla, right up the valley. In fact, sunny skies here through all of the interior, just the clouds here over the southeast coast. Lows going to be kind of chilly Sunday morning here, down into the 15 to 25 degree range over most of the north central interior, and even pretty chilly right down to the southwest coast, Kodiak Island. But look for an increase in the clouds. The rain should stay to the west here. This front really weakening as it pushes eastward now. Just a band of light rain possible for the Alaska Peninsula, but back out to the west, the low center there, just near the central Aleutians, a lot of clouds, showers, periods of light rain and fog. And look for at least small craft advisory winds to come into the Bering Sea along this front and in advance of it. Probably even persisting there over the Pribilofs throughout the day, but much lighter winds here for the peninsula of that front, really weakening in the southern portion here. Now that'll continue to move northeast Sunday night, and there's a risk of a little light rain moving into southwest Kodiak Island during the night Sunday or by Monday morning. Otherwise, high pressure will stay covering the interior. Temperatures this afternoon, 57 at Sitka with a 63 over at Wrangell, 61 at Klawock, and 62 in Juneau, 59 Yakutat, 54 Cordova, mostly in the 50s here, the North Gulf Coast, South Central Alaska, lower 50s, Palmer, Talkeetna, 47 Rain, Gulkana, same temperature there at Northway, same conditions as well, 46 Delta, a little more wind, 59 though, cloudy skies in Fairbanks, and a 51 at Tanana. Back into the mid to upper 40s just to the west there. Otherwise, southwest interior all in the 50s today. Kodiak pushed up to 60. Up to the north, cooling off, 48 degrees there at Fort Yukon, and a 36 Anaktuvik, near 40 at Arctic Village. Upper 30s here for the eastern Arctic coast, more sunshine, lower 40s on the west side, and mid to upper 40s here for the northwest interior, 54 at Nome, and mostly in the lower to mid 50s here along the Yukon Delta coastline down to Nunivak at 55, or Makoriak on Nunivak Island, 55, 46 over both at Chishmaref and Gamble, and down to the southwest into the Bering Sea, mid 50s for the Pribilofs today with some nice sunshine there. Also at Unalaska, 57, cooler with the clouds and rain moving into the central Aleutians here, but not all that bad. Lower 50s back out to Shimia, and lower 60s, well, that's both Sandpoint and Chignik, came in with 61 degrees today. For the lows tonight, lower 50s here for the peninsula, about the same over the Aleutians and the Bering Sea, and then 40s across Bristol Bay, lower 50s for the North Gulf Coast, all in the 50s here for the Panhandle, and then getting much cooler down into the teens. Arctic Village, Eastern Brooks Range, Adigan Pass, otherwise 20 to 25, and then back to the upper 20s here along the western Arctic coast, and even staying above freezing through the Bering Strait there with 40s for St. Lawrence Island. Highs for tomorrow, 55 to 60 here over southern Alaska, south of the Alaska Range, and near to into the 60s again, down on the warm side of the front there in the warm sector with the rainfall to the north. Get some sunshine down to the south, push up toward, actually maybe even towards 70 degrees. Otherwise, 50s out to the west, and not too bad here in the north, 40s to lower 50s. For the flying weather, marginal VFR, IFR heading eastward, slowly clearing out, becoming VFR in the Matanuska Valley, definitely the Susitna Valley, kind of hanging back along the western Alaska Range there, and then that comes right down to the coast, Prince William Sound, marginal VFR, and then quite a swath of IFR coming up ahead of that front, and the rainfall right up into the northern Panhandle, cutting off about Port Alexander, VFR down to the south, and of course with the big system coming into the west, a lot of marginal and IFR with that spreading in toward the eastern Aleutians. Some low stuff maybe making it marginal up along the southwest coast, mostly to about Cape Newenham, but staying VFR, St. Lawrence Island, right down across Bristol Bay and the peninsula, of course all of the western central interior, and just some patchy marginal VFR up along the eastern Arctic coast. Anaktuvik, VFR either approach tomorrow and wide open for Adigan as well. Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR tomorrow, rainy VFR as well. Windy, hanging on to some IFR to start with on the northern entrance, only becoming marginal in the afternoon. Otherwise, the pass itself becoming VFR by tomorrow afternoon. Isabel, occasional IFR, possibly improving to marginal late tomorrow afternoon, but Mentasta probably be IFR, especially on the north entrance, just about the entire day. Tanita, IFR, improving to VFR. Tomorrow, probably VFR by late morning, and for Portage, IFR, same thing there, improving to VFR from IFR here. Once those west winds kick in, the eastern entrance will go VFR. And for Chilkoot and White, IFR. Freezing levels, upper level low coming southeastward. You can see the cooler air aloft, but the 2,000-foot line stuck back up over the eastern Brooks Range area. And then you're looking at about 6,000 feet warmer here over the southern coast, and still at about 10,000 feet for the Panhandle and 12,000 feet here for the eastern central Aleutian areas. Icing, just a narrow band of rime icing possible, or light to isolated moderate rime, spreading in toward Nikolsky, and then just some scattered areas back out to the west. Icing free, of course, high pressure, dry conditions over the back to the west, and then some areas of mixed rime icing or mixed icing here, possibly of the moderate variety over the southeast interior, and then with all that moisture streaming northward in the southeast coast, it all gradually shifting eastward and should be pretty much moved out of the area by Sunday. And here's the upper low today back in this area, slide southeastward tomorrow, so that's going to keep it kind of showery and cool right through the weekend. And again, the rain eventually changing to showers here over the southeast coast with the jet dropping southward there, getting into drier northwest flow. High pressure back here to the west eventually is going to move its way in, all because this system is trying to force everything off to the east. And then at 9,000 feet, we've got low pressure right over the Susitna Valley tomorrow. Northwesterlies possibly as high as 30 knots across Kodiak Island, and southwest winds now 25 to 30 knots at this level for the Panhandle. Pretty strong here. Of course, gale force winds out over the central and western Aleutians, southeast 55, but that gradient shifting northward. High pressure light winds over the northern Bering Sea. Very light winds under high pressure, both at 9 and 3,000 feet here for the North Slope. Arctic coast back down into the northern Bering Sea and actually all the way down here to the Alaska Peninsula. Then they pick up markedly to the west there, southeast 50 knots, even at 3,000 feet. Pretty light winds here, kind of a narrow band of 20 to 25 knot winds up over the interior from the northeast. South to north flow, but becoming weaker now over the Panhandle. So the heavy rain will be about to end after tomorrow. And for turbulence, light to isolated moderate below 6,000 feet here with those gusty winds, especially early in the day, diminishing in the afternoon. A little bit possibly here Kodiak Island, and the heavier stuff with the front and big storm coming into the Aleutians. And after hangar flying, I'll be back with the marine forecasts.
Good evening, I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaskan Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. This evening our guest is Jason Wilson, a pilot and operator with very extensive aviation background. Jason came to Alaska in 1997 and attended UAA and air traffic control, later graduated from Embry-Riddle. Jason is an ATP and CFI. He's been with Hagelin since 2002, and he has truly been stationed all over this state. Bethel, Barrow, Nome, Kotz, you name it. He's been their assistant chief pilot and their chief pilot, and now is their director of operation. Jason, welcome to Hangar Flying.
Thank you, Harry. Good to be here.
What I really want to talk about, or have you talk about, is a remarkable facility I got a tour, was able to tour out in Palmer called the Operational Control Center. Would you talk about how and why you started up the OCC?
Well, through our internal evaluation process at the airline, we identified some areas where we could improve our operational control. After some brainstorming with our Part 119 management group, we came up with a process that would allow us to standardize operations or standardize release processes through the state of Alaska. You know, we're spread out across 11 stations from Minnesota to New Mexico, basically, if you were to transpose Alaska over the state or over the continental United States. Once we identified the ways we wanted to do it, we set up a communication process and risk assessment procedure, which brings the pilots and our operational control center together, and then we release them through the release process.
You mentioned Part 119. Would you explain to our viewers what that is?
Yeah, Part 119 is just the federal the FAR requirements for managing an airline. So you have to meet certain aviation experience requirements in order to hold a Part 119 position. So those folks would be the director of operations, the chief pilot, assistant chief, and assistant director of operations are not required to meet the requirements, but in our organization we set that standard for them.
Now, on this program, Jason, we have talked about risk assessment before, risk management, risk assessment. Give us an idea what it means, the process you have put in place to manage risk management, or to do risk assessment and therefore manage your risk.
Well, what we've come up with is it's called the Hagelin Safe Flight Risk Category Form, and it's got 4 parts, risk assessment 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 being black, prohibited flight, 1 being no identifiable risk. Category 2 or RA2 would be acceptable risk, and RA3 requires a Part 119 person's permission to accept that risk. So it would be crosswinds in excess of 25 knots, short runways, things like that, really high risk operations. So we went through and said, okay, we've only got so many risks that we encounter every day, generic risk, and we can categorize these without quantifying experience. So you have more experience or less experience than I do, and the next guy down the road has a different level of experience or proficiency at the time of that flight. So what we do is we take and have a pilot review his flight and an operational control agent review the flight independent of each other. Those two take those numbers that they've come up independently and agree or disagree on them. So once that process has taken place, they document it in our system and then print a release at the base of operation where they're departing from.
So one important element that you just described is the independent evaluation by the pilot and the operational control agent, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but back up a little bit. Now, the risk assessment's not gut feeling. You assign, I think, a numeric value for something. Crosswinds less than 10 knots, 10 to 20 knots, 20 or more. Some mathematical numbers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We'll go through and identify a category 2. RA2 would be like a night flight. You know, there's some risk there. We can identify some risk. Hypoxia above 5,000 feet, things like that. So you got more risk than you would with a category 1, which would be a day VFR, no wind, CAVU type situation. The ability to identify those risks and have it identified separately and then come together takes out the, I guess, the independent thinking on it, the subjective thought. So it's just objective, fact-based. These are conditions we encountered or are going to encounter or not encounter, and this is a risk we're willing, or the number we're going to associate with that risk. So,
as I was afraid, we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
I want to get one more question in, but I want to get you back on the program next week because I really want you to continue your description of the process because I think it's very valuable for our viewers.
okay.
The one question, just for my own information, generally speaking, do the pilot and the operational control agent, are they usually pretty close in the numbers?
They're typically pretty close. Sometimes, you know, what we've found out is over time it's kind of like a dog. You start to train them and they learn the process. They're getting closer. Their thoughts are we're starting to rein the airline in. So an operational control agent says this is a category 3, and a pilot will say this is a category 3. And what that does is takes out the emotional side of it. Because before everything was a category 1. You know, if it was blowing 100 knots, hey, we got to go. We've got 10 passengers sitting here and they need to get
That's
home.
what I want to get back to.
Yeah.
So I'll get you back on the program on Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, sorry we ran out of time, but I think Jason's got a lot to offer, and I really want you to listen to this process. So tune in next time, and in the meantime, fly safe.
Welcome back. Well, for the canal up here, Lynn Canal, strongest winds will be in the northern canal again, less to the south, so kind of average it out, south 25 knots instead of the gales of today. And then gale force winds early on, still possible here for the North Gulf Coast, and then 20 knots to the south. But in the afternoon, these could be 20 to 25 knots. So there could be some small craft advisories down here on the south coast. Otherwise, south to southeast, 10 to 20 for the inside waters. And then much lighter and all westerly out here, 10 to 15 knots along the coast. Really laying down up here in the north in that 5 to 10 knot range. Going variable to maybe north 10 knots for the canal there, so much lighter winds, light southwest breeze here for the remainder of the inside waters. Bristol Bay, or Prince William Sound, west winds at 10 tomorrow, trending west at 10, starting out variable. Northwest 10, pretty light for all of Cook Inlet, but picking up more of a northwest direction here, coming across Kamishak Bay, west-northwest into the Barrens, 15 to 20 knots there. Basically 15-knot winds all the way down along the east side of Kodiak Island. And then really light winds, light and variable here for all of Cook Inlet, right down into Shelikof Strait. Higher pressure moving in, westerlies 10 to 15 here for the North Gulf Coast. Light winds for Kodiak Island and still westerlies, but on the light side for Prince William Sound. And for Bristol Bay, no wind tomorrow there under high pressure, northwest, starting out 15 here, southwest of Kodiak Island, diminishing. And then winds starting out light and variable, turning southeast in the afternoon, especially here over these western areas, southeast 10 to 15 in the afternoon hours. And then not much of a change here going into Sunday. That front really weakening as it comes eastward, so 10-knot winds, west 15, southwest of Kodiak, light winds, turning southeast, but quite light for Bristol Bay. And then for the Aleutians there, northerly gales now coming into the far western areas, but lighter northeast 20 knot winds with a lot less gradient here over the west central areas. And then the gale force winds edging their way in toward Nikolsky, but probably not quite making it. Small craft advisories for the remainder of the Fox Islands. And then on Sunday, 20 to 25 knot winds from the south and southeast here on the eastern zones. Light northwesterlies back over the west central area, southwest 20 to 25 knots here for the Adak-Atka area, and up along the southwest coast. Pretty light winds here along the coast tomorrow, and then picking up 25 knots, especially over the southern zone here of St. Matthew Island. Definitely for the Pribilofs coming up to 25 knots. And then for Sunday, southeast 25 for the Pribilofs, easterlies at 25, St. Matthew Island, northern Bering Sea. 15 to maybe 20 knots St. Lawrence Island, and then turning southeast there as you head down the coast. And the Arctic coast, light easterlies up on the east side, light southwesterlies here on the west side. Kind of have a front trying to approach, but really won't do much. Actually, that'll be on Sunday. Variable winds for that area. Then on Sunday, front coming down from the northwest could push the winds up to small craft advisories here on the west side. More likely 20 knots in toward the central coast, southerlies 10 to 15 on down to the Bering Strait, and staying light on the eastern coast. For tonight, again, heavier rain edging its way eastward, so that's going to have the flood watch of the Taya River area up around Skagway, and rain heavy at times, Haines back over into Elfin Cove, maybe Yakutat, more showery back here to the west, clearing out, some really good high pressure moving in. But it's going to take its time as another upper level disturbance pulls off to the southeast tomorrow, keeping it showery over the southeast interior. Wet conditions again, northern panhandle, mostly sunny, mild to the south. Here's that storm coming into the Bering Sea. Front really weakens on Sunday as it pushes into the Alaska Peninsula, but high pressure taking over the interior and showery for the panhandle. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
It's never too early to set expectations and goals for your child's education. The UA College Savings Plan provides opportunities that can help you reach your educational savings goals. Save in Alaska. Study anywhere. There is more information available by calling 1-888, the number 4, and then Alaska. This message sponsored by the UA College Savings Plan.